take some for in the winter time.
I took the water. Yeah. That's the chemical.
Okay.
They're the only
So,
one I've done so far. So.
all right. With the, if you look at the difference between a solid and a gas, a solid takes the shape, has a definite shape and a definite volume. Okay. A gas, not so much. A gas will fill the container or whatever space it is provided. It will take the space up. It also causes, when it goes from a solid to a gas, for it to spread out. It wants room. Gas wants room. Solid and liquids don't need as much room as a gas needs. So if I were to try and seal a container when a gas is being made, that would be very dangerous. Because what would happen would be this, ready? Pressure would get created, right? Now this is not completely sealed. It does have a place for the gas to escape, right? Right into your face. But now does that hurt at all? It's carbon dioxide. It's the same stuff that you put out into the
What
air.
happens if you cover all the holes?
That would be dangerous, and that's what I'm trying to explain. What would happen is that this glass would crack. Because as the gas is expanding, it needs more, it creates great pressure. And it has lots and lots of collisions in that container.
Will you show us it?
No, that would be very, very dangerous because you guys could be leaving with some pieces of glass in your eye, and that probably would be a good idea. Especially on such a lovely day. You wouldn't want to be at home having to stay inside because you have a broken eye, right? Okay, well what I'm going to show, which is one of my favorite things to do with this, is actually trap the gas inside a bubble. And how many of you are Harry Potter fans? This is what I often call is making the ghost eggs. You know there's ghosts in Harry Potter, right? Of course we've never seen the ghosts, how they came about becoming the ghost in the stories. But, could we actually make ghosts? And that's where I kind of do this little demonstration with making a ghost egg. And I'm going to have Amanda assist me. Amanda's going to hold the bubble solution. Now I'm going to bring the ghost eggs around, but the tricky part is they don't like to stay as an egg for very long. And I'll show you my little contraption that I have created for
Bubble
making my
Man
ghost
showed
eggs.
us how to do that too.
Kyla, did I ever show the class this?
No, but I watched the video and I showed it to my kids. About
Yeah, I know I
think it's
couldn't.
the coolest
This is my
thing
downtown class,
ever,
and it was
ever,
always
ever.
difficult for that. But this is my ghost egg maker right here. How simple is this? Something you can make at home, right? Just a container with a hose and a funnel. I do have a top on it, but I also put holes in the top. That way pressure does not build up. Okay, oh, did you hear the ghost? Scary, right? That way pressure does not build up, and their gas can always escape. Now this is a tricky demonstration. Ghosts are kind of shy, and they're not always wanting to come out and be with us in the room. So we'll do the best we can to get them out, right? So I'm going to fill this up with carbon dioxide. And of course what happens when you add water, right?
No.
No, that's
You're not liking that, is it? Okay, now I know that some of you won't see this right away, and it does take a second, especially at this speed. There we go. There are the ghost eggs.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Look at that. It's like
See, like I said, they don't like to stay as a ghost for very long.
That's so cool. Let me try.
Let another kid.
Pour one on my hand. Pour one on my
Now you
hand.
notice that it has behaviors of a bubble. And a bubble is made out of, stay in your seat, I'll come around. Okay. A bubble is made out of what? Sorry if you're getting a little bubble solution on you. Science is messy. But that's actually clean, isn't it? A bubble is made out of what? Anyone? Let it fall to the ground and see if it stays as a ghost egg. Sometimes, if I get it close enough, we can get and the surface is clean, which is not. Maybe the carpet's clean. This is always my test. This after I clean my carpets at home, I pull out my ghost egg maker. Look at that.
Whoa!
And I see if we
Look
have.
at that, right behind my knee.
Don't break them.
Do you see
Don't
it?
break them. If you
Do you
have
see it?
clean carpet,
Right there. Right there. Right
look at
there.
those two stains.
That's so cool.
oh man.
I'm shrinking.
Oh,
Like,
This is soap, right? Everyone knows bubble solution. Why when you touch a bubble, does it pop? Anyone have an explanation, a scientific explanation? of Why are these ghosts popping
Weird.
when you touch them?
I know.
Yeah? Go ahead, Justin.
Because your finger's dry and it's wet. If you get your finger wet, sometimes when you touch it, it won't pop. It's happened to me before.
So you're saying your hand has to be dry?
No, it has to be wet.
Has to be wet. That's
Otherwise
it.
it'll pop.
What is soap
Or me.
attracted to
You didn't do
that
it to me.
cleans your hands? I won't be doing it ever. What is soap attracted to that cleans your hands?
Water.
Bacteria? Dirtiness, right? Dirty, dirt, germs. You know, it's attracted to chemicals in your hand. And so when you touch it, of course it's going to pop. But if you have a clean pair of gloves, or like you say your hand's wet because water bubbles, soap is also attracted to water. So if your hands are wet, oh, I know. Oh, bubble, you're trying to find.
I need to
My
get a stain
favorite
on
thing
my
to
hand.
use are those magic gloves. Oh, man, almost got it. Are those magic gloves? Here, we'll try it in the carpet one more time. You know what I'm talking about by magic gloves?
Yep.
They're those soft, dollared gloves that you can get for wintertime. They're not really thick. Ah, look how clean that carpet. We have to compliment the library janitorial staff because they do a good job cleaning the carpets. Look at that.
They shrink.
Oh, almost. So there's my bubble. My ghost egg. My ghost
I
egg.
didn't get one on my
Maybe we'll
hand.
bring that back out if there's time a little bit later, but I do want you to do
The bubble's
the
so
next
low
activity
before.
here.
Ooh, it's shrinking. Isn't it?
Going on. It's shrinking.
Very cool.
Does anyone have any questions about the ghost egg maker? Yeah.
How do you like when you put the bubbles in there? How do it go?
That's a good question. What shows when the bubble gets made, because a gas is getting made, that fog that you see coming out is pushing to blow the bubble up.
It's pushing just like
Just
your
like
hair
our
would,
load-
like sinking it and making a bubble.
Exactly.
It's
You can hear-
to the ground.
you can hear there's a ghost in here. If you guys listen, you can hear there's a ghost in there, right? He wanted to be out into his bubble and be in his little bubble egg. Okay, now to do the next activity. This next investigation, and I have a few more demonstrations with the dry ice, but I want to have you guys be, part of doing these activities, is making worms to put into your snow and gel crystals, right? Okay, to make the worms, I'm going to pass out. And right now you have one of the materials that you need, the stuff that looks like water. It's not water. Some of it is water, but there's something else in there. And then another material that looks like this. And what I'm going to ask you to do is put out 3 cups at each table. Okay. Where's my, oh, here it is. Over at my stove. Is in this container right here. And what I put together, even though I do have a laboratory, a chemistry laboratory, I investigate chemistry and chemicals that are around our world. I actually did this in my kitchen. And you can be a scientist in your kitchen, which is really fun. A lot of things in your kitchen you can look at and investigate. Just what I would always tell you to do is always let your mom and dad let them know what you're doing. So say, hey mom and dad, I'm going to mix some baking soda and vinegar together. Is that okay? Okay. So make sure you always ask your mom and dad before you do this. So of course I had to call my mom on the phone and say, hey mom, I'm going to use some sodium alginate and some calcium chloride. Is that okay? Sure. Okay. Sodium alginate. Sodium alginate. This is what I have here. This is sodium alginate. Now, Amanda's going to come around with the red food coloring first. Okay, we're going to use red. And you're going to look as this pours into the cup at your table. And we're going to make red worms. Let's do that. And she's just going to not mix it, but just put 2 or 3 drops on the top of the cups that I'm pouring into on all of these. And look to see what the food coloring does when she just adds it. Does it mix like you would expect it would do in water?
No. It settles on the top and settles on the bottom, but it doesn't.
It just sits right there on the top. And we'll talk about that in a second.
It's lazy.
Can you guys say this? Sodium
Sodium
Alginate.
Alginate.
Guess where this comes from? Like I said, I did this in my kitchen.
Is lazy.
Raise your hand if you know what sodium alginate is or where it's at or where it came from.
I should, but I remembered it was calcium
Remember this?
chloride though.
Okay. Sodium alginate, are you ready for this? Look at it. It comes from seaweed. Does this look like seaweed?
I remember
to you?
ice cream used to be made from seaweed.
Yeah, what does the alginate stand for? What?
It's just a polyatomic, and
Okay.
it's primarily the alginate polyatomic that links together to make the polymer that we're going to make. Okay,
Because in water it would dissolve.
you see it just sitting there, right?
Together.
Just
This
sitting
is
there.
being divided like oil.
What do you think by the food coloring just sitting at the top? What do you think that says about how thick the sodium alginate is? Do you think it's really thick or do you think it's really thin? Raise your hand if you think it's really thick.
It's either really thick
Raise your
or
Justin, hold on. Raise your hand if you think it's really thick. Raise your hand if you think sodium alginate's really thick. Raise your hand if you think sodium alginate's really thin. Okay, so if you think it's really thick, maybe do you think it? Raise your hand if you think it's like thick like honey. Everyone knows how thick honey is, right?
yeah.
Okay, this is a science word. You are right that it is thick like honey.
Either the
It's
sodium
very thick. Hold
alginate.
on, Justin, let me explain. What the thickness of this is like honey, and it has a high viscosity. Anyone know what viscosity means? What the word viscosity is scientifically? Thickness. Exactly. So the higher the viscosity, the more thick it is, right? Excellent. So it has a resistance to flow. It does not flow as fast as water, right? So you see that the food coloring just sits at the top because it won't. The food coloring is thinner. It has a lower viscosity. It makes it difficult to fall in there. What we're going to do is help the food coloring, help the alginate along. And Amanda's going to take some of these pipettes, pass them out, one to each. And don't do anything with these yet. I will explain to you. And some of you are going to get really small ones, which are kind of fun to play with too. But this is a scientific tool. It's a really important scientific tool. Everyone should have this in their scientific lab. So when you get your scientific lab made, make sure you have one. Who doesn't have one
Can
yet?
I keep this?
What's that?
Can we keep these?
That's a good question. Do you think it will disappear in the activity?
No.
Did everyone get one? You got one? Okay. This is called, this is yours, right? This is called a disposable pipette. Can you say that?
Disposable pipette.
What is the purpose of a disposable pipette in a chemistry laboratory?
You have to, well, it freezes up water. It's kind of like when you go,
So it squeezes up water, so if I push the ball, don't do it yet, don't do anything with the pipettes. Okay, I didn't give any instruction yet, Justin, okay? When you squeeze the water up, you squeeze the bulb and water sits in it. And look at that, it just sits without it falling. It's good property of surface tension of water. Water does have an attraction for itself. And what's also really unique about this is that I can take it and deliver it onto, a surface like the dry ice, and it creates a little bit more fog, right? It provides it more water for it to go through that process of going from a solid to a gas. What you're going to do, Justin, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to use the pipette to make some worms. But we need to get this sodium alginate to be all red. So I'm going to pick one person or 3 people at each table to mix the sodium alginate. Okay, you're going to mix it. You're going to mix this one, and you're going to mix that one. Right there, you're going to mix that one. Okay, here, you're going to mix this one right here. You're going to mix this one right here, and you're going to mix this one right here with your pipette. Just put your pipette in and mix the sodium alginate. And watch as they mix it. Here, I'm going to have you mix that one. I'm going to have you mix this one. Okay, and I'll have you mix that one. Okay, I'm going to have you mix this one.
Keep swimming it till
I'm going to have you mix that one. And I'm going to have you mix this one. Okay. Are you doing a good job mixing it?
I'm not really
It does have a pretty good viscosity, so it does take a little bit of effort to get it to mix. But this is just, like I said, this is just seaweed. This is just seaweed. The other liquid that you have on your table that you should not have touched yet, right? Everyone see that other liquid? Someone describe to me what this liquid looks like.
Water.
Water, are you sure? Exactly like water? How would you describe this? Is it super clear? Do you think there's something in there then? If you come across a glass of water and you see that it's not clear, do you think that that means there's something in there? Yeah. Do you always want to drink everything that looks like water? No. There's a lot of things in your home that look like water that you definitely do not want to drink. Okay? This one contains, that makes it not clear, this one contains calcium chloride. Can you guys say that? Calcium?
Calcium
Chloride,
Calcium
right?
chloride.
Does anyone know where calcium chloride is in your kitchen?
Oh yeah, it's in stuff.
Okay, open up your refrigerator, Dustin. What are you going to find in your refrigerator that's nice and crispy? That when you bite into it, you hear a big crunch. Nice and crispy.
Ice cubes.
And they keep it in a liquid, in a jar. And it starts with a P. Pickles, over there. I heard it first. Pickles. Calcium chloride is in pickle juice that keeps the pickles crispy. How interesting that we're going to take something that's from seaweed and then something that's from pickle juice and make a worm. This is so fun. Now I'm going to demonstrate. Everyone watch. Eyes up here, Justin. Over here. Here, I'm going to hold on to your pipette so I can demonstrate this. I'm going to use your pipette, okay? Now what I'm going to do, you can take your pipettes out of the red solution, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on the bulb. And then I'm going to let go of the bulb, leaving it inside the red solution, the sodium alginate, right? And I'm going to pull it out and look, what's inside there is the sodium alginate, right? Okay, now this is the tricky part. And I know all of you are great scientists, so you can handle this. Do not let the pipette touch this at all. That's the trick. You can't let this touch. But you can let the substance, the sodium alginate, touch it. And you're going to do that by holding it above and doing a really good, the best you can, fast and quick squirt. Ready? Just like that. See how that squirted out? And I never let this touch this.
Why?
Because it will clog up your pipette and you won't be able to do it again. Okay, that's a good question. Now watch. Now I'm going to go swimming into the calcium chloride. Oh, I still need that. Thanks, Justin. I'm going to go swimming inside the calcium chloride. And I found my worm. Look at that. Now I'm going to tell you what you can do. It will break. It's not a strong worm. But what you can do is try and make either really long worms or really short and fat worms. But it depends on how you squirt your sodium alginate solution into the calcium chloride. Okay? Everyone's going to share the blue. I'm sorry, not the blue, but the red.
Can you help me make a worm that's really fat but short?
I'm going to let you take on that challenge.
No, but I don't know how to. Yeah, I did.
Give it a try. Question?
Go ahead. Put it here.
Go ahead and squirt some of the red in your pipette.
Suck that all up.
There you go.
Hit it.
There you go. You did it.
Okay.
Yep. Squirt some in here, but don't let it touch it.
There you go.
There you go. Good work.
Nice.
Yep, that's fine.
When do I get it?
You made some fish eggs.
I'm
Fish and then you put it
Yep,
It's a little
go grab it.
It'll take practice. It definitely takes some practice. Good. That's a good work. Put it on your table. When you make it, set it right next to your bowl.
Make another one. Put it on the table though instead of here. Oh, there you go. Nice.
Only don't break.
We're gonna set it right on the table. There you go, guys.
The more you say, the more say
Put it on the table.
Look at it. Whoa, we don't take that. We're going to be sharing solutions.
Delicious wormy.
Okay, go ahead. Here, make sure you can share it with him.
Kids, do you
How do you make a fat worm? It always ends up
And give it a good
skinny.
squeeze.
Oh, it's chewed one.
And then reach your hand
I
out.
remember
Oh, you made a fish egg. That's a little
Try not
fish
to
egg for
touch
your
the
wormy.
solution.
I made one.
This is kind of fat.
Do you guys remember the
How do you make a
seaweed
fat worm
salad?
like she did? I don't know how.
That we had
I
just a
tried
couple
twice,
weeks ago.
but I ended up with
And I
skinny
like very
ones.
much.
Here, come here, Justin.
That was using, that would have this stuff. And I guess it makes it so spicy.
Why did you do that?
That will make a batter. Here, I'm gonna give you this one now. Just to try
Make
it.
sure you give me that back. I need that back.
I don't know what they
Justin, when you want it back.
If you want this,
fish egg.
if you want this, it will give you a fat worm. Watch.
Cake that has agar on it.
That's
That
it.
is exactly the same.
I'm making my worm.
So they must use this stuff.
They do.
Look at how fat it is.
This is the same thing that pastry chefs use.
Is it? Okay.
And then
Make
also
one
it's the same
more
stuff that
fat
they'll
one.
use for fake pimentos that they stick in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah. I loved it. The kids did.
Can I get let me put one
Okay, now
But you have to
here
give me
is
your
an
skinny.
investigation. Go ahead if you want.
I need my one back.
The worms.
Trade this for that.
Wait, I got a question for you. How about a good food? Okay, have a seat and I'll bring it back. Okay.
How'd you do that?
You can put your worms into the snow and see what happens if it changes the snow or your gel crystals at all.
Put one in.
See what happens. Ready? Isn't this the original one you were working with?
Put it on top or mix it in?
You can put it on top, mix it in, whatever you feel comfortable doing. And see if it changes after a little bit of time. How your snow stays fluffy. Does it change your snow to feeling wet or dry? Does it take the water from your snow? And how often do you find snow inside, or worms inside snow or ice?
Never.
Never.
Hey.
I do.
Oh, that's
Awesome. Sissy.
I got it out. I cleared it.
What's
it doing to the snow? Chemical Kim, you know how you said that white stuff? I accidentally put it in there, but I managed to get it all out. I was just
Yeah, if it does get plugged, if you accidentally do touch it, just wipe off the plug, and then you can use it again.
Oh yeah. How did you make that with that?
I got plugged.
You're good.
I'm gonna put it in some of
How are
this
you doing over here?
Oh yeah.
Good. Wow, you. Anyone make a really long worm? Let's see who has the longest. Let's see who has a really long worm. Let me see your long worm.
He's got a really long
Hold
one.
on,
You guys are really long one.
Go ahead and pull it up. Get it all in one piece.
No, and if you
Look at mine.
I have a super long
just
worm.
take
My
and
worm.
it's just gel crystals.
Look at mine.
Yeah, no, you're good.
You can bring your.
Okay, you had the long. Oh wow, that is a
Chemical
long worm. Awesome.
These were combined, but they broke. These were combined, but they broke.
Yeah, see, the worms are not that strong, are they?
Whoa! Let's do fat ones. They're very weak.
I will explain to you exactly how the worms are being made.
Look this
The seaweed, the sodium alginate, that's really good. The alginate uses the calcium and links together as if you guys were all to hold hands in this room, make one big long chain. That's what the calcium is doing, is it's having the seaweed, the sodium alginate linked together. And it makes that big long
So we're supposed to put all our worms in there?
worm. If you'd like to, you can definitely.
Yeah.
Anyone see any difference to their snow at all?
Yeah,
Raise your hand if you did.
Nope. Yep.
It may take a little bit of time, but what you'll probably start to see is your snow is going to get smaller.
Also, what happened to me is all my worms are sticking together.
Hey, someone put their little thing in here.
Oh yeah, those are made. Oh yeah.
Now you can, listen, I know we're kind of finishing up here, so I'm just going to give you some instructions about
Have
taking
some regular water and see
Here,
what
have a
happens.
seat for a second, Justin, okay? Now you have a bowl full of crystal snow and worms. You can take this home. You can take this home. It's very safe. If your worms start to get small, just soak them in water and they will get big again. Okay, so if they start to get kind of
How
shriveled
do I
up,
melt the snow?
just soak them in water. If your snow gets small, let water soak in them again. okay? Like you grew them earlier, like you grew it earlier.
Or I could dump it all in an aquarium.
You could do that, or do that. Okay, who wants to see, before you, who wants to see one more dry ice demonstration?
Me. Well, what would happen if you dumped it in the aquarium? Would it slowly get bigger?
Dump it into an aquarium?
Yeah, what if you dumped it in like a fish aquarium? Would it get so big?
Oh, don't do that, don't dump it in with your fish.
Why?
Because it could kill them.
No, I mean like a
You're
clear
introducing something to fish that fish don't like.
No, I mean like a clear tank with no fish in it. It's just water. Would it get so big, would it like it explode the tank? After a while, would it get like
That's a good question, what do you think? What would be your guess?
You'd have to
Yeah.
try to experience it. You think?
But
Yeah.
make sure you don't introduce it into any fish environment, and you let your mom and dad know what you have. Now what I'm doing is I'm filling up this is a graduated cylinder, of course this does look like a chemistry, piece of chemistry equipment,
that
right?
will fall.
Okay, Justin, just one more demonstration here, okay? And I'm just putting some soap solution in with the, so I have soap solution, and just like you saw, catching the bubbles or making the ghost eggs, what do you think is going to happen when I put some dry ice into here?
It's gonna start bubbling up.
Do you think it's going to go over? Do you think it's going to flow over?
Yeah.
It's going to be too much?
Put a bucket on.
Is that why I have a bucket underneath it?
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, ready? Let's see what's going to happen. You guys are smart. What a smart group of scientists I have today. Okay, ready for this?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Whoa.
It's a bubble maker. Oh!
Oh.
It did get a little bit bigger than we expected.
Science is messy.
It is messy. Here, we'll sit on the ground.
This is so cool.
Okay, now what you can do, is you can try and pop the bubble. See that? What happens when you pop the bubble
Can I try and suck some of it up?
in the pipette?
Yeah.
You're sucking up bubble solution.
Okay, I don't get it.
Okay then.
Did I suck it
What
up?
happens when you pop it?
It's a
I'm gonna put it in my
continual smoke.
Like my worms.
See, it's all the fog that's trapped in the
Chemical
guy.
explosion.
Remember, it's not smoke. Smoke is from burning, right? This is fog. This is just water.
Wait, suck it up and then spit it out. It comes out as smoke. Suck it up and spit it out of your thing and it becomes smoke.
That's cool.
No, clog it. It's gonna explode. Clog it. It's gonna crack.
I would not want to do that, right, Justin? Because we don't want any glass fragments here.
When I get home, I'm gonna clog the glass and let it explode.
Ready?
It is the continual bubble maker. Is that not so
Isn't that cool?
Look what you can do. Look. If you absorb the bubbles.
There you go.
Okay, so I think we have to wrap things up. I think your parents are here to pick you up. And
Well, don't my parents.
the bubbles kind of finished making.
I left
What you can do,
What happened, Chemical Kim? I like put some stuff in here and then I sucked up the bubbles. And then I was like, ugh. Because I couldn't squeeze it out and then it just fired like a missile. And landed
what do you think
somewhere.
happened? You maybe had some fog in there, huh?
So when like,
The gas was still getting made. Exactly. Okay, you do get to take your bowl home. Just be careful. It has snow and gel crystals and worms in there. It's very safe if it falls on the carpet because it will just dry and you can vacuum it up. But just let your parents know. I would suggest just keeping it in the kitchen because of the food coloring. So let your parents know what you have. And I want to thank you guys. You have been excellent scientists today. You can take home your disposable pipette because you need that, right? That's an important laboratory piece of equipment. You get to take that one too. It is, that's a seaweed, right? Seaweed. This is from baby diapers. That's it. Baby diapers.
look, I can smart it.
So you have seaweed and baby diapers is what you guys work with.
I'm gonna use this gun on my brother.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, pipette.
Denija? Okay, one last thing. Denija said if your parents ask, seaweed is the worms and the snow is baby diapers. Seaweed and baby diapers. That's what you have.
Look, see, look what happened.
Yes.